I'm going to be giving you the top 5 tips on how to keep your worms warm in the winter. And number 1 is always going to be moisture. And moisture is required for microbial activity, which is what the worms eat, along with soil and the food and the bedding. So they get a little bit of all of it, but the number 1 is probably the microbes. And when trying to keep your worms warm, you need moisture. And you would think adding water to a worm bin in the wintertime, it would freeze if it got below 30. But the reality is your bedding is going to be anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees warmer than the outside air if you overfeed a little bit. But anyway, the moisture speeds up the decomposition of the organic materials, and it's an exothermic process, which means it generates heat, and the microorganisms break down the organic matter, then releasing energy in the form of heat. So keep your water levels up and your worms will be happy. And then also, moisture is right there with aeration in the bin, so if you do keep it extra wet, you are going to have to maybe turn your bin more and aerate it. That way it doesn't go anaerobic and kind of sour, which can hurt your worms or kill them. So number 2 is going to be overfeeding. And right here, I did overfeed a little bit with, it was alfalfa pellets that would not go through my grain miller that I make the worm chow with. So what we did was we soaked it in rainwater, and that way it expanded, and then from there we just kind of broke it up and fed half the bin. And what that did was, boost the microbes, and it boosts that heat with the water, and from there we boosted the temperature of the bedding from around 50 to 60 degrees to all the way up to 90 degrees, pushing over it. So what we then had to do was, take off the insulation panel and other things, and that allowed it to cool down along with the ice and a little bit more cold water. So, and then we also pulled that feed off to the side of the bin more and got it out of there. But anyway, moving on to number 3 is going to be additional bedding. So, in a perfect world, it would be fall. You have leaves, or your neighbor does. You put those in your bin. If not, you can go with the insulation panel like we did with the black poly. It's working pretty good. So keep that in mind. You could also use cardboard or anything to just add some bulk to it to kind of insulate them. And then number 4 is going to be the Reflectix insulation panel right here. And what it is it's thin, lightweight, and it also, it's a radiant heat barrier, so it keeps the heat down instead of letting it rise, and vice versa. So we use a combination of everything to keep our worms warm, and we also monitor it with a temp gun with the laser. So tip number 5 is going to be heat mats, and we use the Vivo Sun and have had good luck with that so far. And I really like that it has the temperature digital, so when we have it in our bin, it's showing exactly what that temperature is where we have that thermometer in the bedding. And right here is a worm cocoon of pure red wiggler stock. If you didn't know what they looked like, they could have 3 to 5 baby worms in them. And right here we are feeding our worms with the worm chow we make, and you want to keep it not to the right or left of the bin, but kind of in the middle by that pumpkin is about the amount of feed you want to do. And you don't want to feed them again until it's all gone, and only give them about 3 days worth. So that being said, here's my water canteen, and we really like it for the fine holes. Instead of misting, we use this. Just got to be careful. But thanks for watching. I love the comments, and check out our website at harleysworms.com. Follow us on Instagram and X for more worm content. Thank you. See you next time.